A second person installed by Donald Trump as United States Attorney has been disqualified by a federal judge. That is extraordinary, and it is important for reasons I'm going to explain in this video. I'm Adam Klasfeld, and you're watching All Rise News here on Legal AF on the Midas Touch Network. Sigal Chattah has been acting as U.S. Attorney for the District of Nevada, and she's a person who has brought up a lot of opposition by people in the legal community who have been concerned and outraged by Trump's appointing her to that position. She's a failed candidate for Attorney General in the state of Nevada after her campaign collapse amid scandals over her virulently racist rhetoric. As a matter of fact, some of that rhetoric was recorded in a letter sent by dozens of retired federal judges opposing her appointment to that district. I'm going to read from that letter, and I apologize in advance. I feel uncomfortable reading some of the rhetoric in that letter, but it's important to see the words of the acting U.S. attorney who was just disqualified by a federal judge and whose tenure in that office is being vigorously pushed by the Trump administration for her to remain in that office. Here's the presentation of what she has said in a letter by dozens of retired federal judges opposing her appointment. They write, quote, "She has called a black member of Congress a hood rat, a black woman prosecutor, quote, ghetto, a prominent black woman journalist, quote, the dumbest human being in our nation, a prominent black comedian, a, quote, monkey, and has consistently denigrated prominent black people as DEI. Chattah also stated that Nevada Attorney General Aaron Ford, who is black and who Chattah campaigned against in 2022, quote, should be hanging from an effing crane. She said that in a country with a history of lynchings. Now, she was just disqualified by a federal judge, U.S. District Judge David G. Campbell. He's a George W. Bush appointee. And he found that Chattah's appointment violated the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. Chattah, like a growing number of U.S. attorneys during Trump's second term, was not Senate confirmed, and she was rejected by the judges of her district who refused to extend her term after her temporary appointment ended. Trump is fighting to keep her in her office right now, along with nearly half dozen other U.S. attorneys. And here's from his opinion. Given the court's conclusion that Ms. Chattah is not validly serving as a United States attorney, her involvement in these cases would be unlawful. The court will disqualify Ms. Chattah from participating in or supervising defendants' prosecutions. Now, this arose because criminal defendants across the country are challenging their prosecutions because Trump has insisted on installing political loyalists who are unqualified for those positions, and this is giving criminal defendants an opportunity to argue that they are being prosecuted, that the process through which their prosecutions are happening is illegitimate. And twice so far, a federal judge has agreed, and 2 times in a row, a federal judge has agreed that the U.S. attorney prosecuting these cases is illegitimate. So far, both of those judges found that it didn't affect the underlying indictment, but it's clear from these cases that the administration is playing with fire, that in theory, one of these challenges could succeed. This is utterly unprecedented. The first time a federal judge disqualified a U.S. attorney on these grounds was with Alina Habba, who was Trump's former personal attorney, the same personal attorney who pursued a ridiculous racketeering case against Hillary Clinton, a number of people, claiming that they were involved in a multifaceted racketeering conspiracy to tie Trump to Russia's attack on U.S. democracy in 2016. That lawsuit was so frivolous that Trump and Alina Habba jointly had to pay nearly $1 million in sanctions. She is now the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, who has brought multiple cases against prominent Democratic politicians, one of which already collapsed. That's a case of Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, and another case against New Jersey Congresswoman LaMonica MacGyver, who has a pending motion for vindictive prosecution. So Alina Habba has been ruled to be illegitimately appointed. That case is going up on appeal. Sigal Chattah is number 2 on the list of acting U.S. attorneys whose appointments were found illegal. And there may be more to come because there are a growing number of U.S. attorneys appointed by Trump who Trump has failed to get Senate confirmation or judicial approval by the judges of their districts. Here are a few of them. John Zarcone in the Northern District of New York, an ex-Trump campaign lawyer who called Biden a traitor on social media. There's Bill Asalee in Central California. He's a former California state assemblyman who sponsored anti-trans legislation. There's Julianne Murray from the District of Delaware, a person who was part of GOP state party politics who Trump called MAGA all the way. There's Ryan Ellison in the District of New Mexico, who is pushing forward Trump's plan to build the wall that he failed to accomplish in his first term. And according to one argument, conservative legal scholars say the same might be true of the prosecutor who's pursuing James Comey. That's Lindsay Halligan, the Trump personal attorney, who's a former insurance lawyer with no prosecutorial experience, whose first criminal case is against a man Trump hates, ex-FBI director James Comey. And conservative legal scholars are saying that that case could collapse because Lindsay Halligan, too, may have been illegally appointed. That's the precise argument made by conservative legal scholar Ed Whelan in the National Review. Here's what he writes, quote, "As I understand the facts, it seems highly doubtful that Lindsay Halligan has been validly appointed as United States Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia. If her appointment is invalid, so is her indictment of Comey. Section 546 of Title 28 of the United States Code authorizes an attorney general to appoint an interim United States attorney for a term of 120 days. Under Section 546D, once the 120-day term expires, quote, the district court for such district may appoint a United States attorney to serve until the vacancy is filled, end quote. So let's take a step back here. Lindsay Halligan got into that office after Trump pressured out her predecessor, United States Attorney Siebert from the Eastern District of Virginia, someone who is broadly respected among career prosecutors in the district. Across the political aisle, he was a Trump appointee, a conservative figure, but someone who was known to be a straight shooting prosecutor. He did not believe that the case against Comey or the investigation against New York Attorney General Letitia James were worth pursuing. So Trump pressured him out and installed his former attorney who has no criminal justice experience. And Ed Whelan here in the Conservative National Review says that chain of events is unlawful. From his article, quote, can the Attorney General make a second interim appointment under Section 546 when the first interim appointment has expired? The most natural reading of Section 546 is that the authority to make the interim appointment then lies with the district court. And that's evidently the position that the Department of Justice itself adopted in a 1986 Office of Legal Counsel opinion written by none other than Samuel Alito. The opinion itself might not be in the public domain, but a 1993 OLC opinion states that Alito opinion, quote, suggests that the Attorney General may not make successive interim appointments pursuant to Section 546, end quote. So Samuel Alito said in a Office of Legal Counsel opinion that the chain of events that led to the appointment of Lindsay Halligan may be illegal. And so if James Comey tries to disqualify her and he succeeds, there is a very strong chance that this entire prosecution collapses because remember, he was prosecuted right before the statute of limitations was set to expire. He's being prosecuted over statements he made to Congress in 2020. And it was a 5-year statute of limitations. They pushed his indictment right onto the wire. We are in October. And if he succeeds in disqualifying the U.S. attorney who was handpicked for the purpose of prosecuting him, that could be a successful defense against the case entirely. This is one of the reasons why you should pay attention to these cases that are happening across the country. Trump's insistence on installing political operatives to federal prosecutor positions outside the Senate confirmation process and without the approval of the districts. It's an active legal battle that can determine whether Trump can handpick a prosecutor to go after his enemies, or whether the courts will say no. 2 judges have said it so far. I'm Adam Klasfeld. You've been watching All Rise News on Legal AF on the Midas Touch Network. To support the work I do and to get my reporting straight to your inbox, visit www.allrisenews.com. That's www.allrisenews.com. Been talking a bit about James Comey. I'm going to plan to be in the courtroom at his arraignment. And the support of my subscribers allows me to do that and allows me to make videos like these. So if you can afford a paid subscription, I appreciate your support. And if you can't afford it at this time, you can become a free subscriber and find the reporting that I produce straight in your inbox. And if you want to watch videos like these, you can become a subscriber to Legal AF and watch the next time my explainers air. Thank you for watching.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.